Good afternoon. How are you doing, YouTube? This is that guy Rail, the host of the 313 Live show. First of all, I want to take time out before I start this video, and I want to thank all of you new subscribers for subscribing to the show. What I need for you guys to do now is share this page with your friends, to your social media pages. Do what you do. Let's help this page, the 313 Live channel, to go viral. So I said I was going to start thanking all of the subscribers that come in, and if you go back and you listen to my past podcast show, episode 57, you will hear I thanked a lot of the fans, the subscribers who came through and supported us. First of all, I want to shout out and give a big thanks to Intensity Harris. Thank you for subscribing. I want to thank D'Angelo Rush. I also want to thank what's his name? It is Ed. Last name is spelled G-I-C-H-U-K-I. Thank you for subscribing. April Campbell, thank you for subscribing. And Carla McWright, thank you. And that's pretty much it. We're going to go with the thank yous. This video, the documentary that I saw, it is called Tupac Assassination 3, The Battle for Compton. Okay, this is a deep documentary that I saw, and it is done by R.J. Bond. R.J. Bond is set to be a guest on my show, on my podcast show, and I told him I was going to sit back and I was going to do my YouTube take on this video and what I thought. First of all, the video, it starts off going back to Mexico and the police corruption and everything that happened with the Compton LAPD. And when you watch that, you like, what does this have to do with Tupac? You ask yourself. Well, it has a lot to do with Tupac and Death Row. So when you watch the video, take your time, don't get frustrated. There's a 2-hour and 20-something minute long documentary, and Tupac was in prison. And so allegedly no one was willing to come get him out of prison to put the $1.4 million bail up to get him out while he was appealing his case. Only Suge Knight was going to come get him out of prison. Okay. You're going to find out in the documentary, Suge Knight had nothing to do with Tupac's $1.4 million bail being posted. In the beginning, there were already other sources was getting the money together, and when Suge Knight saw it, he came in and did what he did. So there were people working to get Tupac out of jail. And was Tupac aware of this? You have to listen to the interview with R.J. Bond when he comes on to my podcast show within the next week or so, and he'll answer all those questions that I'm going to ask him. Tupac got out of prison on a Thursday, and Tupac went into the studio, left New York, went to California, boarded a private jet, and recorded 7 songs. By the next day, within 24 hours, he recorded 7 songs off of his All Eyes on Me CD. 7 of those songs were complete in 24 hours. In 280 days that Tupac was free, Tupac recorded 200 songs with Death Row. But Tupac was going into the recording studio knocking out 5, 6, 7 songs a day. So, yes, it's possible for him to do that in 280 days. October 19th, 1995. David Kenner and Suge Knight arrived to take Tupac to LA. In Tupac's contract with Death Row, it included an immediate $250,000 advance payment to David Kenner for Tupac's California cases. At that time, there were none. Tupac signed to Death Row Records to work with Snoop and Dre. And in the end, Tupac didn't like either one. Period. Point blank. It was a lot of tension at Death Row during those times. Dre was not showing up to the studio to work with artists, Death Row artists. Tupac found that to be a problem. Was like, well, why is he claiming credit for albums that he's not even on? Tupac signed to Death Row Records because he was in prison. He wanted to get out of prison. No one was going to put that $1.4 million bail up. That we thought. Okay, we were wrong. There was a pledge taken to take this bail up to get Tupac out of jail. And Tupac, was he aware of that pledge, or someone else getting him out of jail? That I don't know. Only RJ Bond knows the answer to that question. And when he come on the show, I will ask him that question. So stay tuned. I'm going to keep you up to date on the video, the episode that RJ Bond is going to be on and explaining this documentary. Okay, everybody wants to know this, okay? Tupac, Death Row Records had the entire Compton police and the LAPD working for them. Suge was paying police officers $75 an hour. Yes, this is no lie. $75 an hour to protect the artist, to protect Snoop Dogg, the Dog Pound, everyone, even himself. If you notice, none of those police officers would protect Tupac because Tupac had just shot 2 off-duty Atlanta police officers. So the police officers did not like him and they did not want to protect him. Suge Knight had to go outside and get other security officers to come in to protect Tupac Shakur. And 2 of those officers were Frank Alexander and Michael Moore. That's right. Both who are dead to this day. I find it kind of ironic that everybody that was in Vegas that night, that was on the Tupac camp, that could make shit happen and bring shit to light, these people are all dead. Michael Moore, Frank Alexander, the former LAPD officer who was getting close to cracking the case on who killed Biggie Smalls. What's his name? Poole, I forgot, Russell Poole, that was his name, Russell Poole. He's dead, okay. Gaddafi, he's dead, okay. These are people that were able to say, hey, I saw this, I saw that, was able to help the police, with this case and put it to bed. In Vegas, the night they were supposed to go to Vegas, Pac was running around in Vegas early that day, unaware that his security team did not have a firearm on them. This is true. Did not have a firearm and did not have a Nextel walkie-talkie with him. Pac was running around unaware of any of this. Let me take it back a little bit farther, rewind the tape. They had a meeting earlier this day, that everybody was to leave their guns at the hotel. Michael Moore put up such a big stank about him not leaving his gun. He was not going to leave his gun behind. He questioned that. He said it didn't sound right. It was just fishy. It wasn't right, and he's never heard of that. Here you got Tupac at his time, the biggest star in the rap game, and you want us to protect Tupac without a firearm. That was dumb. So they pull him. When I say they, Reggie Wright Jr., head of Wright, his father was the head of Wright Way Security. It has been said many times that Reggie Wright Jr. did not like Tupac. This is stated on record. He did not like Tupac. Okay. If I was Suge, the big boss man at Death Row Records, I don't give a fuck if you don't like this guy or not. This guy is making all the fucking money. You better swallow your fucking pride and get your ass on him and watch him and guard him, or I will fire your ass. $75 fucking an hour, and these fucking guys is working 8 to 12 hour shifts. So it kind of makes me wonder, was Suge the big scary boogeyman that everybody said he was because he couldn't get cops to guard his top selling artist at the time? That was kind of weird. Okay, but back to the shit about Pac running around Vegas, not knowing that his security, armed security, was unarmed. Okay, that night, when the shit jumps off with the Orlando Anderson situation, it seemed to be a setup. Frank Alexander himself said it was a setup. It looked kind of suspicious. Okay, why would Tupac, Death Row's top-selling artist, run up on Orlando Anderson and punch him, and then they started stopping him? One of Suge's homies, Trayvon, ran up to Pac and whispered in Pac's ear about Orlando Anderson, and then the shit hit the fan. Okay, that lets you know right then and there that Death Row Records back in his days was not ran right. It was ran like a fucking street gang. Because ain't no way in the fuck this guy over here selling 4 and 5 million fucking albums that you can get close to him to whisper some dumb shit in his ear to get him to go over here and do some shit like that. It just didn't make any sense to me. But Suge allowed this shit to happen, and look at Death Row today. The white man owns it. Or whoever they is, they own it. Suge don't own it anymore. Suge is in prison and can't even make $25 million bail. When at the time, Death Row Records, when Pac was alive, was worth $500 million. Suge, at the time, in his bank account was sitting on $125 million. Suge was unaware that nobody had their firearms, or did no one have a firearm. He was unaware that. He didn't even know about this until Michael Moore and Frank Alexander told him this the next day when they had a big meeting. Shit gets thick where I'm about to go. So, I'm just going to give you a little bit of it so you can watch it and get on, and go watch the video yourself. It's called Tupac Assassination 3, The Battle for Compton. No Dog Pound member was in Las Vegas that night, allegedly. Snoop wasn't there, Das Corrupt wasn't there, and wasn't none of their security there, which was police officers. None of them was there. None of them. Allegedly. Okay. After the shooting occurred and Tupac was shot, a call came over the radio and Michael Moore, Tupac's bodyguard, heard the call say, "Got him." That's right. Got him. Then another voice comes over the radio, wasn't a homeboy, but a white voice. That to appear to be David Kenner, and tell everybody, don't say anything over the radio. Get off the radio. The hit apparently was not for Tupac, ladies and gentlemen. The hit was on Suge Knight. Yes, you heard it right. The hit was on Suge Knight. Okay, you asked the question, okay, why do they shoot Tupac's door? Okay, if you go back and you look, the person dumped bullets in the back of the BMW first. Okay, when you hit in the back of the door, the shooter know that those bullets, because Suge's seat was let back, they was hitting to hit Suge. And Suge didn't get hit, he got grazed by a bullet fragment, and Tupac took the bullets. Okay. After this, the shooting or whatever, Suge is in the hospital mad. None of the security, Reggie Wright Jr., none of them is there at the hospital with Suge and Pac. Nobody is there but Michael Moore and Frank Alexander. This is true. Okay. Tupac and Snoop Dogg were not in the best places at that time. And my thing is, okay, Snoop Dogg stated in an interview as he was getting off of the plane. The last plane trip he and Pac took coming from New York back to California, He asked Pac, yo, cuz, you going to Vegas? He said Pac fanned him off. And that was that. They ain't had no more words. Now, Snoop Dogg knew he wasn't going to Vegas. Why would you ask Snoop? Why would you ask Pac if he's going to Vegas, if you're not going? None of your crew is in Vegas. That's kind of suspicious. Or could it be, you know, just coincidence? None of your crew was there and you weren't there. Okay, Lil Half Dead. Let me get to Lil Half Dead. That's supposed to be Snoop Dogg's cousin or whatever. He's a part of the LBC. Lil Half Dead name has been coming all through this for many years as I've been investigating this myself and looking into it. Okay, Lil Half Dead had a beef with Tupac. The beef was supposed to be that he wrote Brenda's Got a Baby and Tupac stole it from him, which we all know that that was a lie because 20 different individuals before Pac even knew Snoop now and before Pac was even fucking with them had wrote Brenda's Got a Baby. Lil Half Dead has an album out called Dead Serious. On his album cover, he's dressed up as the Terminator. And it has a picture of, appear to be, Tupac Shakur shot dead in the head, leaned over the mixing board in the studio, and it has a picture that appears to be Gaddafi shot in the corner in the head. So, are you trying to say something, Half Dead? Were you the one that was involved? Were you the one in the back seat that did the shooting? Is it really true? Because your name have came up in this investigation more than one time. And there is a letter that was released. I forgot the brother's name who released this letter, but you have to go and watch the documentary and you have to check out the podcast show when RJ Bun is on the show. In the letter, this guy lays it out. He gives the confession letter to a news anchor in California that if something happens to me, you can release this letter. Okay, I don't know if anything happened to him, but the news guy read the letter and turned the copy of the letter over to the police. And the police did nothing about it. Okay, in the letter, it clearly lays out the whole detail that the murder that night was not for Tupac. It was for Suge. They were supposed to kill Suge, and Reggie Wright Jr. was involved in it. The Reggie Wright Jr. told them where Pac and Suge was going to be, the locations and everything. Okay, that sounds like it could be true. It really does, because Reggie Wright Jr. is security. Okay, only the security would know where Pac and Suge is going to be and know that no one in the entourage has a gun on them. So, as I read more into the letter and I was reading the letter, that it was all pointing at Suge. Pac was not supposed to have got killed. The hit wasn't even for Pac, it was for Suge. Okay, Orlando Anderson, the Crip, went back and he took credit. All the Crip members took credit of him as being the killer and the shooter of Tupac Shakur. Well, there is supposed to be video footage from an investigator in Vegas, police officer in Vegas, that during that shooting, Orlando Anderson was not even around the scene. Orlando Anderson was at the hotel having a drink at the bar, and there's supposed to be video footage to back this up and prove it. And you ask yourself, well, maybe that makes sense now because they never arrested Orlando Anderson. Because the police know something that you and I don't know. The video footage of him sitting at the bar. So once again, you got a nothing ass nigga that would take credit for shooting down a superstar to bring his name up to make him look like he's a fucking celebrity, or I took Tupac out and shot at Suge. Okay, Suge allegedly saw the shooter. And I'm quite sure that if it was Orlando Anderson, Suge at that time had so much money and was one of the most feared men in California, that he would have hit Orlando Anderson, or had Orlando Anderson hit, and would have had the guy Keefe D, who gave a confession, a false confession to the police that his nephew did it and he was in the car. Which later, Keefe D recanted his story on there and said, you know, hey, I was facing this much time. Shit, I was going to tell them what they wanted to hear. It was a lie, all a lie. So, you know, this Tupac shit, it gets deeper and deeper and deeper. When you watch this documentary, you're going to love what you hear. You're going to love what you see. Shit gets deep. Shit gets real. But always it puzzled me. Why in the fuck wasn't Snoop Dogg there? Snoop and Pac was supposed to be the best of homies and supposed to be cool. But, hey, watch the video and you'll see more. There's so much that was going on with Tupac's money. Tupac was paying Nate Dogg's child support. Yes, Tupac knew he was paying Nate Dogg's child support. A portion of Tupac's royalties from his royalty account was going to pay Nate Dogg, was not going to, but was there to pay Nate Dogg's child support case. Wow. Shit is deep. This is all I have to say because I want to make a short video on this. I didn't want to go on for days and days and hours, you know, talking about, you know, the what if, the what not, you know, to be a fucking guy to say I'm cracking the case shit. But, you know, hey, the case is already there and laid out. You be the judge. You go back and you watch it and you see for yourself. It's called Tupac, The Assassination 3, The Battle for Compton. You can go watch it if you're on Amazon Prime. You can go watch it for free. It's on Vimeo. It is on iTunes. And they're working on a deal right now to have it put on Netflix. Thank you very much for your time, ladies and gentlemen. I just wanted to touch down a little bit on this and make it, you know, bring it to light so you can go watch this, you know, this video. If you're not listening to the 313 Live show, go to iHeartRadio, iTunes, Stitcher Radio, anywhere where there is podcasts that you can get your podcasts at, and search the 313 Live show. Subscribe to the show on your podcast channel. Start listening and give reviews on the show. Comment on the shows. You know what I'm saying? The comments mean everything. We will read your comments on the air of the show. We will read your emails on the air. You can email us at the313liveshow@gmail.com. And we'll answer all your fucking emails. We'll read them live over the air. And anybody that subscribed to the show, your name will be shouted out on the 313 Live show. Thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of your day.